of the most fabulous, treasure-filled pagan temple that's existed on this planet. And he's showing himself that he is God. He's not really God, but if you're trying to pass off that you are God, then the temple you're sitting in has got to be the temple of God. You know, if you buy the whole story. Now, what makes me believe this to be the explanation is that when the Philistines captured the Ark of the Covenant and carried it off to their cities, they put it in the temple of God. The translators put there in italics, which meant that it's not the original. Later, in the next few verses, it points out that it's the temple of Dagon. So it's not the true God, but they thought Dagon was God, so they put it in the temple of God as far as they were concerned, you see. So, to me, if there is a temple built in Jerusalem, it will not be a part of God's service. It'll be a part of the devil's deceptions. And folks, they're going to come thick and fast in the next few months. As a matter of fact, as soon as I leave here, Satan will motivate people, put clever ideas in their heads, because people aren't clever. We're all dumb as doorknobs. And if we don't believe that, we're already in trouble. So anything comes out that comes into our mind that even vaguely resembles cleverness, it comes from the devil or from God. And so there will be those who will try to make you think that you really didn't see anything while you were here. There are people say, well, Ron Wyatt gets up there and hypnotizes everybody and flips the light on the blank screen and makes them think they see all kinds of stuff. You wouldn't believe what all the people say about me, and you wouldn't believe how many people believe it. That's the part that stuns me. That's why I say we're all dumb as doorknobs. But anyway, that's enough of that. Let me go on up this line. Sorry, I'll be right back. Yes?
With the Roman crucifixion, is there usually no bloodshed? What I'm coming to is, if there was bloodshed, it was Jesus' blood that went down and cracked, not many other blood that people blood.
Okay. Normally crucifixions didn't involve a whole lot of blood. You know, that's right. You know, this man apparently has studied crucifixions. However, it is stated that they wanted to make sure Christ was dead, so they stuck the spear in. And the blood and water gushed out. So this was a bloody one. Now, how do I know it's Christ's blood? You remember 1 John 5:9? This is God the Father's proof to us that His Son died for us. It's not ordinary blood, folks. It has 24 chromosomes only. All of us here have 46. Unless, there's a couple of genetic anomalies that make that different. But Christ received 23 from his mother and one Y, sex determining factor, from his father, who was not a human father. Because had he received that from a human father, it would have been accompanied by 22 autosomes. Now, what this basically means is that his height, his eye color, his hair color, and all of this was supplied from the genes of his mother's gene pool. However, Mary and Joseph both descended from David, but none of us have 24 chromosomes. And there's something else. The Bible says, you will not leave my soul in hell, nor allow my body to see corruption. The blood of Christ is only dried out, folks. It's not dead. When we rehydrated it with normal saline, 72 hours at body temperature with slight, very gentle swirling, and put the white blood cells in a growth medium 48 hours later, we did a chromosome count. I didn't. I have people who are experts at that sort of thing to do these things for me. They asked me, where did you get this blood? Whose blood is this? And this was in Israel. And I said, it's the blood of your Messiah. I never saw people go into such a state of shock and fits and everything else as those people went into. I said, that's the blood of Jesus Christ. Well, they knew, and they told me before I asked them to, when I asked them to perform this investigation, that dried blood, you can't get a chromosome count on it because the white blood cells have to be alive and well in order to do that. You can get DNA, you can get some other things, but you can't get a chromosome count. So this blood is unique, and it is Christ's blood. And that's why God the Father says it's His evidence or proof to us that His Son died. Now, you will get to see that on video, right? Tables of stone you get to see in person if you're willing to travel a reasonable distance. I may be able to bring it here. We'll just have to see. All right, I saw somebody else's hand back there. Yes?
That was my next question, really, is were the tables of stone found in the Ark of the Covenant when it was discovered by Jesus?
Okay, were the tables of stone found in the Ark of the Covenant? And then that's the end of your question. Okay, thank you. Yes, the tables of stone were found in the Ark of the Covenant. I personally removed them with the assistance of 4 angels who lifted the mercy seat, which I would estimate weighs about 900 pounds of solid gold. And one of these angels told me to take the tables of stone out of there. He said God wants everyone to see those. And so I took them out, backed up, stood there, frozen in place, and I just can't describe my physical state or mental state or anything else. If I didn't have some physical evidence to prove it happened, I'd think I had a dream or something. But anyway, they are now available to be shown, but we won't say. Actually, they're on a stone ledge right in the same chamber. That's where the angel put them after I handed them to him. I didn't know what to do with them. And I was told that these are to be presented with the blood evidence when the mark of the beast law is passed or enforced. Now, I know everybody wonders about what it is, the mark of the beast. You've heard all kinds of rumors, stories, and all of this. I'll tell you quick and simple. If you keep the 10 Commandments that God wrote up on those tables of stone, and about which He says in Psalms 89:34, those of you that are writing down text, you'll want this one. Psalms 89:34. He says, my covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that has gone out of my lips. He spoke the 10 Commandments from the mountaintop. He wrote them in stone, and He says, nothing will change. Right? If you keep that law, you will receive the seal of God. Soon there will be a set of man-made laws. Best intentions, surrounded by a barrage of salubrious soliloquies and sepulchral solicitudes. That's all kinds of stories and all of this instigated by the devil to make you think that this is the best thing that ever happened to the human race and that you could just ought to go along with it voluntarily. These man-made laws will require that you break God's 10 Commandments. Christ said of the Pharisees, for it is in vain that they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. If you keep those man-made laws and break break God's 10 commandments, you will receive the mark of the beast. Nobody has the mark of the beast at this point in time. You can only get it after that those laws are enforced. Right? It's not going to be a stamp on your hand or a brand in your forehead or an implant, none of that stuff. You're just going to have to say, okay, I'll keep those laws. That way you get a card that will enable you to do your shopping, withdraw your money and all of that. If you refuse to keep those laws, you won't be able to buy or sell. You don't get a card. Now, is that hard? When a bunch of man-made laws are passed and enforced that require you to break God's 10 commandments, the penalty for not keeping those laws is that you cannot buy or sell. That is the mark of the beast. You all got here tonight. That tells me you've got enough intelligence to remember and notice that when it happens, right? Now, let's see, where were we? And we need to, oh man, well, we've got a few minutes here. All right, I'm coming back over this way, yes. I'll get you, yes ma'am.
In your longer video, you claim that a young boy went in as you were excavating because of the size of the tunnels.
Yes.
And he came out so shocked, shell-shocked, that he did not speak. Has he spoken since, and can you enlarge on that story?
Okay. This young Arab man, wasn't a boy, he was 20-some years old, he's just small. And he volunteered to help me in my exploration of these cave tunnels and chambers and stuff. My sons got sick, and I had to send them home. They got running fevers of 103 degrees, and that's getting up to a dangerous level. And when he went into this chamber, see, what we would do if there wasn't a big enough entrance so I could get in, sometimes he could. If neither one of us could get in, and I couldn't see the whole thing by shining a light in there, then I'd make a big enough hole that he could get in and hand him the light, and he'd go in there and shine it around, and I'd stick my head in and see if it looked like anything promising. Well, when we got to this hole, it had a stalactite hanging right down over it. None of the others had that. Anyway, it was too little to see in and all of this, so I beat out a hole big enough for him to get in. He crawled in, and I was fixing to hand him the light, and he come tearing out of there, and he wasn't speechless. He said, "What's in there? What's in there?" "I'm not going back in there." And I said, "Well, what did you see?" He said, "I didn't see anything. I'm just not going back in there." As a matter of fact, out he went, and he wouldn't come back in the whole place anymore. It was at that point that I realized either the Ark of the Covenant was in that chamber, or that was the direction to get to it. And he, as a matter of fact, he helped us find the cave of Machpelah. There's a few other things that God has allowed us to discover that I haven't shared with you on this trip because we only have a certain amount of time. And we'll share these other things. All right, hands that haven't asked a question before. When we do seconds, we'll be back. Yes?
Yes, Ron, I've shown your videos to quite a lot of my Christian friends, and they believe they're very powerful evangelistic tools. And for that reason, some of them, lots of people now are going over to Jerusalem, especially at this time of year with the Feast of Tabernacles on. And I asked one of my friends to go and try and identify the site, and from my information it's around about Golgotha or the Garden Tomb area and around the back. In relation to the Arab bus shelter stop there, that's supposed to be a local mark that everyone knows, whereabouts is this actual site? Can you be more specific as to where the excavations are?
All right. He's wondering if I can be more specific as to the exact location of the excavation. No, I can't. The Israeli government says you don't tell the exact site. However, we have sealed off the original entrance. We now go into the chamber from a location in Zedekiah's cave. My advice to them if their heart's not pure and they hadn't cleared it with God, that they don't try to head down that tunnel. There's some Israeli military in there guarding it. We'll let them. But there's 4 angels inside, and they need to make mighty sure that God wants them to have a vote before they do.